Nike did it again, and this time the internet caught it instantly. One decision, two superstars, and a controversy that refuses to go away. Because when Nike chose Aya Wilson again, and Caitlin Clark again wasn't centered, fans started asking a dangerous question. Is this marketing strategy, or is this a pattern?
I heard Asia Wilson, Sha'Carri, Sabrina, Sabalenka. Oh, that's right. I didn't hear Caitlin Clark's name. That's why we don't jump for joy when Nike does one good thing. Oh, one good thing. Nike's Nike at the end of it. There's a reason why their stock has been crashing.
Caitlin Clark is not just a rookie. She's not just a scorer. She's not just a storyline. She is the single biggest ratings driver women's basketball has ever seen. And yet, when Nike unveiled its latest WNBA-facing campaign, the face fans expected was not the face they got.
And now with Nike, they're listing out the names of this. And of course, who do they ignore? The number 22 out of Indiana.
Nike's campaign heavily spotlighted Aya Wilson, three-time MVP, finals champion, and already a signature Nike athlete. Aya Wilson deserves respect. That part is not up for debate. But fans immediately noticed who wasn't centered, or in some cases barely visible at all.
Now Nike put out how they really feel about Miss Clark. Let's take a look.
You want to know what I'm selling? I'm selling greatness. Asia Wilson, three-time MVP. We got Jordan Childs. We got Juju Watkins. We got Sha'Carri Richardson.
Okay.
We got Arena Sabalenka.
Champion.
Hustling is not easy, but I love it. Sabrina, I know you want to see.
Caitlin Clark didn't just break NCAA records. She brought new audiences. Networks reshuffled schedules. Arenas changed ticket pricing. Road games sold out. This isn't hype. It's documented impact. So when a brand like Nike downplays that influence, fans don't see neutrality. They see erasure.
Thing that stood out among the Caitlin Clark fan base is them not mentioning Caitlin Clark's name at all in this whole damn ad. Now, one person said, why wasn't Caitlin Clark's name said? Another person said, they don't say Caitlin Clark's name in this ad.
This was never about pitting players against each other. Aya Wilson is the league's most dominant post-era superstar. Caitlin Clark is the league's most disruptive culture shifter. Nike chose legacy stability, while fans demanded momentum. That gap between dominance and draw is where the controversy lives.
Promoted her more in college than they have at all the entirety of the WNBA season. She signed an 8-year, $28 million deal with Nike that also included her own signature shoe, which honestly, looking at it now, $28 million for 8 years is an absolute steal for this superstar.
Fans didn't forget the Rookie of the Year merch. They didn't forget the minimal promotion. They didn't forget the silence. This latest campaign didn't start the backlash. It reignited it. That's why the reaction was instant. People weren't surprised.
How dare you put out a commercial with Caitlin Clark's merchandise saying everyone's name but Caitlin Clark? My dad could watch that commercial 75 times. He will only know Sabalenka's name. My wife will watch that commercial 75 times and she'll say, they're really going to show Caitlin Clark's shirt and not mention her name? Oh, that's kind of weird.
Here's the uncomfortable truth. Nike doesn't need Caitlin Clark. But Caitlin Clark doesn't need Nike either. And that balance of power might be exactly why this feels personal to fans. When an athlete brings ratings without your machine, control disappears.
Nike has decided to release a congratulations to Caitlin Clark for Rookie of the Year shirt in what I think could be possibly the worst designed t-shirt in Nike corporate history. No, but look at this. I've worked with designers before. Like, this is bad. It looks like they had some intern just like quickly mock something up in like PixArt, but really, they put the Nike swoosh in the middle of the O sort of thing, like overlapping some.
Clark jerseys sold out repeatedly. Games jumped networks. The WNBA's audience expanded overnight. From a marketing standpoint, this wasn't a miss. It was a refusal to lean in. And brands don't get punished by boycotts anymore. They get punished by irrelevance.
Ticket sales, and we've talked viewership. Now let's talk about regular season viewership, not draft viewership. Regular season viewership, it grew by 20% in 2023. It's grown by 180% now, which means it would take another 5 or 6 years to do what Caitlin Clark has done. So between draft day viewership, which is up 400% to 40%, between ticket sales, which is up 93% to 16%, between regular game viewership, which is up 180% to 20%.
This isn't about one ad. It's about a pattern stretching across years. Each time Caitlin Clark moves the needle, Nike hesitates. Each time the moment peaks, the spotlight shifts elsewhere. And eventually, audiences stop asking why. They start saying, of course.
As far as the shoe deal goes, there doesn't seem to be one in sight just yet. And timing is everything. Like, who knows what's going to happen with the new rookie class coming in? Paige Beckers, Kiki Ariaffin. This was the year.
Nike still has time. The WNBA is still growing. And Caitlin Clark's story is far from finished. But moments don't wait. History doesn't reward brands that arrive late. It remembers who believed early.
So this has been called the biggest marketing fumble in history. And I mentioned in a previous video, I did work for marketing agencies, and I worked for an agency where Nike was our client. So I know how on top of things that Nike is. And this is one of those things that I personally just did not understand, because the excuse was that it takes all this time. And I do understand how it takes time, but LeBron James, he had his shoe in his rookie year. Steph Curry with Under Armour, he had his shoe, I think, within a year. So I'm not sure what the difference.
This isn't Aya Wilson versus Caitlin Clark. It's the machine versus the moment. And moments don't ask permission. Nike didn't lose fans today. They lost control of the narrative.
Young lady who goes out there and performs at the highest level and is a conscientious observer and a conscientious participant in helping to make women's basketball better for everybody. She didn't have to do those things, but she's done those things, which is further evidence that her heart has always been in the right place, and people who were looking for an excuse to denigrate her in any way.
Do you think Nike made the right call? Or did they miss the moment again? Drop your thoughts below. Subscribe for real WNBA coverage. And stay tuned, because this story isn't over.
Another commercial, look, 24 hours later, and not even mention her name. The level of disrespect is at an all-time high. I'm wishing Caitlin nothing but the best. And I don't want to believe it's Nike, man. I really, really don't want to believe it's Nike, the brand. I want to believe it's the people that work for Nike.
The reason this Nike, Caitlin Clark, Aya Wilson controversy refuses to die is because it sits at the intersection of power, perception, and timing, three forces that quietly control modern sports marketing. And when Nike once again chose to center Aya Wilson while minimizing Caitlin Clark's presence, it didn't just trigger outrage. It reopened a long-simmering debate about whether the world's biggest sports brand truly understands the moment women's basketball is living in right now. Because while Aya Wilson represents dominance, legacy, and championship credibility within the league, Caitlin Clark represents something far more volatile and far more valuable: audience migration, cultural disruption, and unprecedented attention from people who historically did not care about the WNBA at all. And that distinction matters more than ever in 2026, as brands fight not just for loyalty, but for relevance, because Clark's impact has never been theoretical. It has been measurable, visible, and immediate. From sold-out road arenas to reshuffled national TV schedules to social media algorithms that explode every time she pulls up from the logo. And when fans watch a Nike campaign roll out during prime exposure moments without her being verbally acknowledged, prominently featured, or positioned as a central figure, it doesn't feel like an accident. It feels like a calculated reluctance to surrender narrative control to an athlete who doesn't need Nike's machine to be the face of the sport. And that's where the backlash turns from emotional to strategic, because Nike has always been at its best when it recognizes inflection points early. Jordan in the 80s, LeBron in the 2000s, Serena when women's tennis crossed into global dominance. But with Caitlin Clark, Fans believe Nike is hesitating, possibly because Clark's rise disrupts traditional hierarchy, challenges existing endorsement pipelines, and threatens the idea that the brand alone decides who the public crowns. And while Aya Wilson's resume justifies every dollar of her endorsement and every ounce of her respect, the uncomfortable truth is that dominance does not automatically translate to draw, and draw is what shifts leagues, money, and media, which is why this latest moment feels less like a one-off marketing miss and more like a pattern repeating itself in real time. Because each time Clark generates historic momentum, Nike appears cautious rather than aggressive, conservative rather than visionary. And in a sport finally breaking through mainstream barriers, hesitation reads as misunderstanding, not strategy, and that's why fans aren't asking whether Aya Wilson deserves her spotlight. She does. But whether Nike can afford to keep sidelining the most powerful catalyst women's basketball has seen in generations without paying a long-term price in cultural relevance, trust, and narrative authority. Because moments don't wait, audiences don't rewind, and history rarely remembers the brands that arrived late to the revolution.